Do you think the judiciary probably is also a slave to public perception, that by denying the suspects bail, you're just playing to the gallery and not necessarily fighting graft?
Yes, the judiciary has suffered in terms of perception. In fact, judiciary has failed, not in the real sense that they've failed to discharge their duty, but they've failed as far as perception is concerned. They've suffered expectation failure. People expect that when you send the Ngiritas to before a chief magistrate, the chief magistrate is going to order that they be locked, because Kenyans have already prosecuted the matter on social media, and they have already decided that these people are guilty as charged. But that's not how it works. One of the things that will give us hope as a nation is that we've got a new DPP, we've got a new DCI, and we've seen that in gathering evidence on these cases, the state is relying mostly on the DCI rather than on EACC. And we are hoping that the new DCI, Kinoti, will provide leadership to the team, because the leadership is new, but the wine is still the same old guys that sometimes people complain that play along with corrupt elements and criminals. But we hope that the leadership, the fresh leadership within DCI, is going to do a much thorough job in getting evidence of corruption.
So you feel something has changed?
I believe because leadership, it all starts, it's all about leadership. You know, all analysis of failed states, analysis of failed organizations, they start with leadership. They say that once the leadership is messed up, then everything down is going to go haywire. And I believe with the new leadership within the DCI, with the new leadership within the DPP, because those are the people that feed the judiciary. The judiciary does not determine the evidence that is brought before them. They consider the evidence brought before them, but they do not decide what evidence is brought to court. It all lies with the DCI, it all lies with the DPP and their capacity to prosecute these cases. And I hope that this time round, they've come up with a watertight case that is going to stand the test of time. It is an assurance they have made to the public. They have raised perceptions, they have raised expectations. We are hoping that the DPP and DCI are also not going to fail in the eyes of Kenyans, the same way the judiciary has failed from an expectation perspective. But I believe that if the judiciary is served with proper evidence and everything is done properly, that we will get some convictions on this particular matter. But finally, Kenyans are very vindictive. We are very vindictive characters. When these people are taken to remand, Kenyans want them to suffer. Yes. We want them to be punished. We want them to feel how uncomfortable it is to relieve yourself in a corner, in a bucket. But that is not the intention of remand and jail and correctional facilities. They are supposed to be correctional facilities. They are not supposed to be punishment chambers. Unfortunately, that has been the colonial perception, and I say this with a lot of passion, because in the last parliament, I was part of a team that was trying to come up with amendments to the Prisons and Borstal Institutions Act. But we realized that Kenyans, perhaps we don't want our prisons and correctional facilities to be improved, because when you are sent there, people say, go there and eat beans and cooked ugali.
In fact, there's a description of what someone has struck a parallel between what the PS is enjoying at the hospital and the far cry from the prison staple of weevil-infested, half-cooked ugali and gruel with a few beans and limp vegetables floating in it.
And we seem to glorify that.
That's the kind of expectation we did.